Take a look at the cup in front of you right now, the one you probably reached for this morning, before your feet even touched the floor. If you're over 60, that simple cup is doing one of two very different things inside your body, and the difference between them is bigger than you might imagine. It's either quietly helping your body defend itself against the kind of cellular changes linked to disease, or it's doing the opposite, feeding the very processes you've spent decades trying to protect yourself from. Same bean, same morning ritual, two completely opposite outcomes. And here's the part that should make you pause. According to the research, most people past 60 are drinking the version that works against them, not the one that works for them. So before you take another sip, let me walk you through which side of that line you're standing on. This isn't a video telling you to give up coffee. It's actually the opposite. The peer-reviewed evidence has become far too strong to ignore. One specific way of preparing one specific kind of coffee appears to support the metabolic pathways that keep your cells healthy as you age. We're talking about something already sitting on your kitchen counter, something that costs less than 30 cents a cup. But 9 out of 10 seniors I've spoken with are brewing the version that quietly works against them every single morning, and they have no idea. Before we go any further, here's the only thing I'll ever ask of you. If something in the next few minutes genuinely helps you, hit that subscribe button. That's the whole deal. I don't sell pills. I don't run a supplement shop. Honestly, I'd rather you cancel a product you don't need and keep your money in your pocket than send any of it my way. Subscribing simply tells the algorithm to push real research toward more people who need to hear it. Let's talk about the science. A 2017 umbrella review published in the British Medical Journal, led by researchers at the University of Southampton, pulled together more than 200 meta-analyses on coffee consumption. Their conclusion was striking. 3 to 4 cups a day was associated with a significant reduction in overall mortality, including several major disease categories. Not a small effect, a statistically meaningful one. More recent work from Dr. Edward Giovannucci's group at Harvard's T.H. Chan School of Public Health has looked closely at the mechanism. It comes down to one family of compounds inside the bean that, when prepared correctly, appears to support the way healthy cells generate energy. And those compounds are almost completely destroyed by the most common brewing method in American kitchens. Here's the version most seniors pour every morning without even thinking about it. Dark roast beans, usually pre-ground weeks ago, brewed strong on a hot plate. 2 spoons of sugar, a splash of flavored creamer, maybe a sugar-free sweetener if they're trying to be careful. That single cup does 3 things you don't want. First, the deep dark roast destroys most of the chlorogenic acid inside the bean. The longer and hotter the bean is roasted, the less of that beneficial compound survives. By the time the bean looks oily and jet black, most of the active ingredient has been burned away. Second, the sugar and the creamer spike your insulin within minutes. Healthy cells and unhealthy cells respond very differently to those glucose surges, something researchers have studied for decades under what's called the Warburg effect. You end up working against your own metabolism without realizing it. Third, most flavored creamers are built on hydrogenated oils and corn syrup solids, both of which are linked to the kind of low-grade inflammation that creates a less-than-ideal environment inside the body. 1 cup. 3 quiet strikes against your own health. Now let's look at the version that actually delivers what the headlines promise: a light to medium roast. Organic, if your budget allows. Freshly ground within the last 2 weeks, brewed through a paper filter, and enjoyed black. That paper filter matters more than most people realize. There are 2 natural oils in coffee, cafestol and kawol, that can raise LDL cholesterol when consumed unfiltered. Past 60, that's a real concern. A simple paper filter removes those oils while leaving the antioxidants and chlorogenic acid intact. Then, add about a 1/4 teaspoon of true Ceylon cinnamon to the grounds before you brew. Not the cassia cinnamon sitting in most American pantries. Real Ceylon. The combination gives you the most chlorogenic acid, the least cholesterol-raising oils, no insulin spike, and an added layer of glucose support from the cinnamon. The total monthly cost, even with organic beans and real Ceylon cinnamon, usually comes in under $35. Here's the first reason it works. Chlorogenic acid slows an enzyme in your gut called alpha-glucosidase. That enzyme breaks complex carbs into the simple sugars that flood your bloodstream after a meal. Slow the enzyme, flatten the spike. Why does that matter? Because flattening your morning glucose curve smooths out the sharp energy surges your body has to constantly manage. You're not starving your body of anything. You're simply giving it steadier, cleaner fuel throughout the morning. The second mechanism is called autophagy. That's the natural process where your cells identify damaged or worn-out components and recycle them for parts. Caffeine is one of the most consistent autophagy triggers ever measured in human cells. When you drink black coffee on a relatively empty stomach, you extend your overnight fast by another hour or two and layer a caffeine signal on top of it. Your cells shift into deep cleanup mode. Damaged material gets flagged and cleared away. Add sugar or creamer though, and this process shuts down within minutes because insulin turns autophagy off almost instantly. The third mechanism is quieter but just as important. The polyphenols in light roast coffee, especially when paired with cinnamon, help calm the activity of a master inflammation switch called NF-kappa B. Chronic low-grade inflammation is something you don't feel and don't see. But blood markers like C-reactive protein tend to creep up year after year past age 60. Bringing those markers down is one of the most reliable predictors of better long-term health outcomes in the medical literature. Before I share a real story, I'd love to know who's watching. Drop your age and the kind of coffee you currently drink in the comments. 2 words is plenty: light, medium, dark, instant, decaf, whatever you've got. I read them. It also helps this video reach more people in your age group. Let me tell you about someone I'll call Ellen. She's 68, a retired elementary school teacher from Asheville, North Carolina, who came to me last spring with a fasting glucose of 106, an HbA1c of 5.9, and a C-reactive protein of 4.2. Borderline pre-diabetic, with an inflammation pattern nobody wants. She'd been drinking 2 cups of dark roast every morning with 2 sugars and a hazelnut creamer for nearly 40 years. We didn't change anything else in her routine. We simply switched her beans to an organic light-medium roast, moved her to a paper filter cone, removed the sugar and creamer entirely, and added a 1/4 teaspoon of Ceylon cinnamon to the grounds. 90 days later, her fasting glucose was 91, her HbA1c 5.4, and her C-reactive protein 1.1. She told me the only thing she missed during the first week was the sweetness. By week 3, the old dark roast actually tasted burnt to her. Now for a few important reminders, because the wrong details can undo everything we just built. Don't drink coffee after 2 p.m. Caffeine's half-life lengthens with age, and it can quietly disrupt the deep sleep your immune system relies on for repair. Don't pair your coffee with a high-sugar breakfast. That single spike closes the autophagy window you just opened. Don't use cassia cinnamon. Most of what sits in American grocery stores is cassia, which contains a compound called coumarin that can be hard on the liver in daily doses. Look for the words Ceylon or true cinnamon on the label. And don't trust pre-ground coffee that's been sitting on a shelf for months. Chlorogenic acid breaks down quickly in light and air. And a very important note, this video is for general educational purposes only and is not medical advice. If you're taking blood thinners, blood pressure medication, or anything for an irregular heartbeat, please talk to your physician before making changes to your caffeine intake. If you ever experience chest tightness, an irregular pulse, persistent insomnia, ringing in your ears, or sudden unexplained anxiety after a coffee change, stop and get evaluated by a healthcare professional. Coffee is powerful, and powerful things deserve respect. That's the entire protocol. Light to medium roast, freshly ground, paper filtered, black with a 1/4 teaspoon of true Ceylon cinnamon, enjoyed before noon. If anything in the last few minutes shifted how you look at your morning cup, do me just one small favor. Share this video with one person over 60 who might benefit from it. That's the only ask. No purchase, no sign up, no funnel. I'd rather you walk away with one clear change you can make tomorrow morning and never need another video from me again. Stay curious. Stay thoughtful about anyone trying to sell you the fix when the answer might already be sitting in your kitchen. I'll see you in the next one.